In this special bonus episode of the Real Talk with Tian podcast, I'm talking to a very special guest, Marielle Zatar. In this conversation, we get into her design journey and being a knitting teacher in the Middle East. Then we jump into why she joined Pattern Grading Made Easy, her result from the 4-week course, and making the investment in her business. Stay tuned. Real Talk starts now. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Real Talk with Tian podcast. This is a podcast dishing all the dirt on the realities of running a creative business. My name is Tian, and I'm a designer, technical editor, and business coach. See, since leaving corporate almost a decade ago, I've been doing this amazing work full time. It hasn't always been easy, but it has always been totally worth it. Over the years, I've had the amazing opportunities to work with hundreds of makers just like you and tons of big brands. This has given me a front row seat to what it takes to be successful as a creative business. With this podcast, I'm drawing back the curtains to share with you the behind the scenes of the realities of what it's really like, what it takes to run a successful and fulfilling creative business. Welcome to the conversation. Grab a cup of tea or your favorite beverage. It's time for some real talk. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Marielle. I'm so thrilled you're here to share your journey and the role Pattern Grading Made Easy has played, because we have knitters and crocheters listening in who wants to start designing or have been designing and now wants to learn how to grade patterns. And your journey might just be what they need to hear to take that next step. So we'll get started. What are your pronouns?
My pronouns are she, her.
Okay. And tell us about who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm a knitter, sometimes crocheter. In general, I would call myself, a maker. I'm originally from Germany, and I grew up with my mother and grandmother always sewing and knitting and crocheting, cross-stitching around me. So it came quite natural to go down the same path. I've been living in the Middle East for the past 14 years, first in Dubai, and 3 years ago we moved to Amman, Jordan. And I give knitting classes here in Amman for all levels, and I'm a knitwear designer.
So tell us about your design journey. How long have you been designing? When did you get started? And some of the kind of projects you like to design. We want to know it all.
I think I started the first design I published was right after we moved from Dubai to Amman. I remember I designed it in Dubai. It was a little bit hard to move from there because we had been living there for so many years. And it's also dedicated to one of my favorite beaches in Dubai. It was a hat design. I remember that. It's called the Kite Beach Hat. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It always will stay free. And now it was like a couple of accessories. When I published the first design, I was not thinking about anything doing more knitwear design. I was like, oh, I like this hat. Let's just share it, And people liked it, and I think it has like 4,000 downloads or 5,000 downloads, so quite a lot. I mean, it's for free, yes. So, but then I thought, okay, why not once in a while, like if I have an idea, and I like to knit from patterns, but sometimes I like also to knit something what's in my head. And that's how I started. And all the time it was accessories, hats, cowls, shawls. I have one sock pattern out. And then I wanted to dive into garment knitting. I knew I wanted to do the garment designs.
So what made you wanted to start designing garments? Was there like a catalyst of something that you saw that you wanted to modify, or what was the journey that led you to garments?
The journey to garment, I think it was just like, it was a challenge. Honestly, it's a challenge. It is a hat. Okay, it comes in 2, 3, 4 different sizes. A shawl, you can do different sizes, but a garment generally comes in different sizes. So I think it was the challenge I wanted to do. And I like to knit garments. I like to knit sweaters. I like to knit cardigans. I like knitting garments.
Yeah.
That's the reason I think I wanted to do the knitwear, the garment designing.
So have you done any garment designing before you joined Pattern Graded Made Easy?
Yes, I did. I designed for myself and my daughter, couple of just sweaters and cardigans, but that's easy because the person who you are designing for is there, so you can always check, you can try it on, it's only one size, then if it doesn't fit, you just rip it out, you do it again. And the course was like that, actually exactly what I needed to do that next step, because it was always like I knew I wanted to do the garment designing, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to do sizes. I didn't know about grading anything.
Okay. So how did you even find me on social media, or how did you find out about the course?
I found you on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. I don't remember exactly. I follow you on Instagram. And then I saw you advertising that there is spots open for the next course. And I just signed up. I knew, this was exactly what I needed. I was like, oh, great. That comes handy. Let's do it. Yeah. And then I signed up.
So a lot of the students I've had have been kind of humming and ahhing about, they don't just see the course and buy the course. What made you decide on that whim that, what were you struggling with, and then just said, oh, I'm going to just take the course? Because price is a barrier for a lot of people, and time is a barrier as well, because you have to commit to 4 weeks of learning.
The time, I think, was the least I was worried about, because the good thing is it's 4 weeks, as you say, but because it's kind of, you have a whole week to do. And for me, it's like, it took me a while to actually, when people ask me, what are you doing, to actually say I'm a knitwear designer, and to actually treat what I'm doing as a job, and actually say, okay, I'm not putting my 9 hours a day or 10 hours a day in every day, but I'm trying to have, a workload in a week. It was easy to put the time in. The money was investment. Honestly, it's like, this is my business. You have to invest. You have to invest in yourself. And yeah, so for me, it was the next logical step, because I knew I wanted to do garment design. I knew I didn't want to stop at shawls and cowls and hats. I wanted to dive into sweaters and cardigans. So this was the next logical step, and it came at the right time.
So what were some of your concerns, or what was your main concern that would have prevented you from joining Pattern Graded Made Easy, and what put those fears at rest? Did you have any fears about joining?
No, I didn't have any concern. It was like I was thinking about doing something like that before, and then when I saw this that you offered the course, I was like, wow, this is just perfect timing. It was, yeah. So because I had it planned anyways. I didn't really have to. I didn't have to think twice. I discussed it with my husband, and I said, "Listen, what do you think?" And he said, so "Go for it." I said, "Okay." I go.
Wow, that's very decisive of you. Just see it, and if it clicks, and you just go. Love that idea. So given all that, what made you choose Pattern Graded Made Easy over something else that you could have done?
Honestly, I could have bought another book. I mean, there is great books out there, and I have really great technical knitting books. But I'm a very visual person, and when I was reading those books, I always ended up having questions, and then there was nobody there to answer them. Now with the course, it was, you were there, and I could ask a question and you get an answer, not right away, but you get it like in the next couple of hours or the next day. And also the videos, you see everything click by click, and that's great. And you can rewatch it. And the funny thing is, I work right now on several patterns, and I'm looking still at my books because I'm still in a learning process of pattern grading. And now I'm looking at all my technical books, And now I actually get them. I actually understand them much more than before. And now I can use them as the resource they are meant to be. And that's great. That's really great.
Oh, that's impressive. I love that, because I didn't know that about what the course was doing for you before. So we see what it's like your before picture, before you joined the course.
Yeah.
So what is it like now after going through Pattern Graded Made Easy? What were your results? What are you doing now based off what you've learned from all the lessons?
I feel it's all clear now. I feel like someone took me on my hand and showed me, Marielle, step 1, 2, 3. And this is how I work now. I have a plan. So I work on one pattern and I have a plan. I have step 1, 2, 3. And I know exactly what I have to do and I'm not scared. And even if I struggle and I find myself in like, oh, how was that? Or how can I figure that out? I figure it now out. Before, it was just a big blur. And now it's just clearer. And as I said, even now with just of the Pattern Grading Make Easy course, it just gave me so many basics that I can figure out so many things by myself with help of my books or whatever. So that's great.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So what surprised you the most or made you the happiest about taking Pattern Graded Made Easy?
The happiest made me when you said that you would do the yardage calculation. Because I didn't expect that, because you didn't write it at the beginning.
Oh, and the bonus.
I remember I asked the question. You remember I asked the question and you said, yes, that's the bonus. And I was like, oh my God, yes. I'm not the strongest in math. And I could not figure out how to do yardage calculation. I tried once to Google it, and it was just like, what? I don't understand at all. I didn't even know how to start. You know what? With my previous patterns, like let's say the hats or something, it comes in 2, 3 sizes. And then this one is easy. I can figure out 2, 3 sizes for a hat. I couldn't figure out the yardage calculation. What I did, I knitted all of the sizes, weighed them, and checked. So I can, okay, this is the yardage you need for a size small, and this one medium and large. No way you can do this with a sweater. 10, 12 sizes. No. So that was a really happy moment for me. I was like, yes, I'm gonna learn how to do the yardage calculation.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because it's not something I talk about a lot that's offered as a bonus material in the course, because, you know, I'm at the point now where I assume a lot of people know this information, but you saying how much it has helped you and going back to knitting all the sizes for a hat to figure out the yardage, that thank you for sharing that as well.
that was yeah, that might be a little bit embarrassing. Some other people.
No, it's not embarrassing.
Okay, well.
No, because a lot of us do that. I mean,
they might, yeah. Never assume that everybody knows everything. Yes, true. No, I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't even know how to start. Now, when you explained how to do everything, it makes perfectly sense. But somebody has to show you or tell you, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what you don't know unless, you know, somebody says it. Like, true. So yeah, so thank you for sharing that. I mean, it might sound embarrassing, but there's so many people out there that are thinking the same thing. You know, I have to make all the sample sizes just to be able to figure it out. So, or
estimate, which is scary too, because you don't know, you know. That's just
estimate. We'll just estimate really high. Okay, a whole new skein, you know, when you only need like a quarter.
Yeah.
All right. So for someone on the fence about joining the next round of Pattern Graded Made Easy, would you recommend the course? And if you would, what would you say are 3 benefits you experience as a result of going through the course?
Definitely do it. If you are scared of math or Excel or anything, don't be. It's so great because the course is really, you start simple, easy, and then it goes slowly up. And you can always rewatch the videos. You can always ask the questions. It's definitely for you if you want to start garment designing or even for non-designers who like to knit from patterns, but they want to change the pattern, for their sizing or whatever, you understand so much from it. You just get all the math and all, what you need and all the numbers, and it's so easy in just one Excel sheet. So definitely do it. Yeah. And the 3 benefits for me, you mean the 3 benefits?
Yeah.
So for me, the 3 benefits I experienced the most were definitely how to use one Excel sheet to create everything I need, all the sizes I want. Then, as I said, how to calculate the yardage was a big bonus. And also how helpful schematics are. When I designed before, I kind of had a schematics because I just, drew it out. But what I learned with this course was really, and that's what I said when I say I learned during my step 1, 2, 3. This is my step 1. When I sit and, okay, step 1 is basically the swatch and the schematics. And the schematics is for me right now the same important as the swatch, because it tells me so much. I didn't do that before. So that's a big benefit.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. So we're going to start wrapping up. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience. This has been an amazing conversation, and I am just so thrilled to be just a tiny sliver of a tiny part of your journey in designing and grading. I know there's so much more ahead for you, and I can't wait to see what's coming next and to share with the world all about you. But before I let you go, tell us what's coming up next, where we can find you, and feel free to include your website, social media, upcoming patterns, event. We want to know everything that's coming up for you.
So what's coming up? I'm currently working on several patterns, and I have a few others planned before I give birth to our second child in June. So I'm a little bit, I'm running out of time here.
You have time.
But it's okay. I'm going to start my knitting courses soon to really concentrate more on the design. So I basically go for knitting course maternity leave. And then let's see, with 2 kids then and a newborn baby, I need to see how it goes, but I definitely want to design more and I want to do more garments, and that's the plan. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook under Zatar Knits, that's Zatar Knits, and my Ravelry store is Marielle Zatar.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tian. That was great. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Thank you so much for coming on. A big thank you to our special guest for coming on and sharing so candidly her experience with the Pattern Grading Made Easy course. If you're a designer and you want to take the next step, you're ready to level up your designing, join Pattern Grading Made Easy today. Go to tianconnaughton.com/Pattern Grading Made Easy to enroll today. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to another episode of the podcast all the way to the end. Everything we mentioned will be listed in the show notes at tianconnaughton.com/Real Talk with Tian. If you have questions on anything I've mentioned, or if you just want to book a coaching session, go to tianconnaughton.com/contact-us to get in touch. You got this.